Good evening, bandits. It's your boy Gator here. We are going to talk about some fun things tonight. Not to be limited to general price action, entries, shakeout hammers, support and resistance zones, did some different things like that. And then general trading, what's the word I'm looking for? Psychology, risk management. Gonna mix in some of that stuff, but the main purpose is kind of going to be general price action talk. We've done some in the past, but we're going to refresh some on price action and why I sometimes say in chat, hey guys, I'm sitting here looking for a shakeout hammer, and that's what I'm going to buy, or I'm expecting that as part of this trade, so I'm only in some of a position. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Hey Graph, how's it going? Everybody in chat. Hope you guys had a fantastic day. Now let's kick off this show and have some fun here. Hola. So how was your day, Graph? And anybody else, how'd y'all do? Mad at Netflix. I want to talk. You know why I'm excited for Tesla split? While we're waiting on a few people, and if you're watching this kind of post whatever. Hey, what up, Team Bronx? How you been doing, Garrett? I did. I had an okay day. It's good to see you, brother. I haven't seen you in a while. I'm gonna have to message you. How you been? Hope you've been kind of keeping consistent. I know that you're taking some time off and stuff. Glad to have you back, man. Glad to have you back in the community. Nice. That's not too bad then, Graph. That's not too horrible. So, I want to talk. Moved across. Yeah, I moved. I'm down in Georgia now. So, I'm down in the Lake Oconee, Georgia area at the moment. This is new home, new area. This is a temporary office. I wanted it to be my full office and deck it out, but I ended up building an office upstairs that I'm getting framed next week. I've been waiting for a door to come in, so. Oh, nice. Oh, congrats. I'm glad that the move went well, man. That's legit. So yeah, if you guys, just throwing it out there now, I'll remind later on in the stream, but if you like this kind of stuff, always leave a like, share, subscribe, you know, all that fun stuff. I'm supposed to say to do all that. If you're watching this and you don't trade with us regularly, you want to hear this stuff called out real time, all that kind of stuff. Link to the Discord where I chat live every day in the description of this video. Also the link to the T3 live room where Geronimo, Eddie, other people in this room, all of us pretty much trade, most of us. So if you guys want to come in there and there's a link down below, an affiliate link in the description of this vehicle. You can check that out. And this week we're actually having a free week in the T3 live room and open house, so you can actually come join and not pay anything. Discord's free, but it's not the same, and we're not necessarily in there trading all day because we don't get paid to do it. It's just a community that we're hanging out, kind of keeping a community together there, but there's no, Discord's free. It doesn't cost anything. It's just us hanging out, doing all that, and T3 is a little bit different. But if you're interested in that, links are in the description. So I'm excited for Tesla split. Not because I'm excited for Tesla to change, but because I'm excited to get better at trading other names. What do I mean by that? So I took a trade in Tesla. So I want to talk about 4 trades today, 5 trades, maybe. Some ones that I missed and then some that I got. So I'm going to talk about a few different trades. The first trade I called out live in Discord. Sorry, T3 people. It was not a T3 room. It's harder to type and do that. Y'all remember when I called this right here? Absolutely just pulled into the 21. I was like, I'm in. What did I say yesterday on the show or whatever it was, and the pre-market show this morning at 9 o'clock? I said I'm waiting for a pull into the 21, and I'm long First trade of the day. We were up here. I was like, hey, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this drop into the 21. Waiting for the drop into the 21. Not doing anything. Boom, hit that 21. I was like, I'm in. I got in it off the 21. Didn't ride it all the way up here. I got 3 points somewhere in here or here, and then I got back in here and made a little bit of this. But I actually, because this was really slow, I traded Amazon, so I jumped over to Amazon after this. So I got this for a nice little pop. And then just because I didn't like the last couple of days how Tesla had been trading, and Amazon was at support, which was basically a test of the lows here that they would hold. We kind of dropped down below this gap down, this demand zone. If you look backwards, that's also, these lines are all, where are we at? So what is this line? So that line is the bottom of this. This is the bottom of this day, 729, and that's this is where the split gap up happened. So like this area here. So I was expecting us to kind of hold this and pop. So instead of sitting there in Tesla, which I think would have been a great trade, I came over and I longed Amazon off of one of these candles into the 21. Took my money. I thought to myself, dang, I just need to hold this because this is going to retest up here. It didn't, or it did, but I didn't take it. I wish I should have. And this is one of the trades here that I'm going to talk about that I took that didn't work and why it didn't work. We're going to talk about that. And actually, we can do that now. So yeah, I did. I wish I did too. Those 3 points there. I could have logged off and been happy with where I was at after those 3 points, man. Those 3 points were just money. I really, when I do something like that, I just need to stop trading. It's like, okay, I'm done, and just size down and stop. After that, in this Amazon, I could have stopped. So I want to talk about general price action and looking left on a chart, meaning what's happening, what's happening in a name. So in Amazon here, you'll see, so we talked about the Tesla long. That's trade number 1 I want to talk about. Trade number 1, called this one live, so it's worth talking in here and a little bit of bragging on it, you know, different than before because it actually tested and then we went up. And I didn't do much in Tesla the rest of the day until a short, and we'll talk about a short over here, but then Amazon. I did not trade most of this Amazon. I should have. I didn't because I traded some Tesla. That's why I'm looking forward to the split. I'll actually notice other names now. I'll actually look at charts and see what's developing and what I need to do. But what I was looking at here, one leg, here's your consolidation. And if you wanted to fib it or something or do a measured move, you know, there's your first leg. So here's your first leg. You have a, you know, a pull down into the 21. You kind of retest a little bit lower, pull in, hold, lower, or higher pivot low. And then acceleration up, we hit the 127, we pull in. So here's your first leg, second leg, third leg. Third leg's a little bit shorter. But we did hit the 127 on the third leg. So the way I look at this, 1 leg, 2 leg, 3 legs. And all 3 of them hit. So at this point, during the day, we know after 3 legs, you're pretty much done. You could be. Now, thankfully, I called this one out, and this was a loss on a trade. I only had like 10 contracts here, and Amazon barely moved, so it was like a $200 risk, and I thought we were just going to retest stay highs or put in a higher pivot low and then fail. So we didn't. We actually just like went up. I got in here at the 21, and then got out down here somewhere once we broke here. And you could have turned around and shorted it because then we had the retest. So here's your fib move in the opposite direction. I don't think I did this. I should have. See, there's your move in the other direction. We've talked about this trade before. You break down below the 21. We'll look at Tesla when it did this earlier, and it goes down. There's your, you know, your short, pull back in, and then consolidate. But I missed that one. Why? Because I noticed it after I got in it, but I really wasn't paying enough attention to how much of the move had happened. And so looking back, it's like, man, we've already done 3 legs. I wasn't heavy in this anyway, but I shouldn't necessarily take this. So I need to be looking for a different play. So let's go to Tesla. I want to talk about a few different points here. Let's see, which one do I want to look at? Which one do we want to look at? So here is the one. Let's see. Here's one that we'll try to use as an example. I don't know that it's perfect for an example, but we're going to use this because I like what I see here for a long, generally speaking. Now Tesla was a little bit weird today, and just comparing it to the rest of the market wasn't the best name to trade. I thought it had room and should have moved up to about 315 or so. And for all intents and purposes, I think this is a good trade and a good failed trade. And I do not regret this trade at all, other than the fact that there were some other names that were working and that were setting up really good and that would have been better. And also, cheers to you guys who are here to hang out. I know it's a little, what is it, Wednesday? Whiskey Wednesday. Whiskey Wednesday. There we go, guys. Happy Whiskey Wednesday. Banditos. So now we just told a story about something that worked. Now we're sitting here in the middle of the day or whatever, and let's say we missed other names or we've done some other stuff, and we're looking at our full move. Here's our move. Here's our pullback. Let's say you fib this, your first leg up in Tesla. You're expecting to move to 1613 to 127 with a retest. You know, you pull up, you fail to get higher. Okay, we need to hit the 2-minute 21. We do. We shake down the VWAP. We test the 50% retracement. We hold the 50% retracement, which means there's a good chance we're going to test day highs and go higher. Doesn't always happen. Nothing always happens, but there's a possibility of this happening. This is a high, probability entry, and or a safe entry, I guess you could say. You hammer off of that 50%. You take one of these breakouts. I'm pretty sure I took this. I think Mitchell took this. I think a few of us took this. And we were in this trade. Like, we were up here, and I decided to sell some, thankfully, and then I stopped out. I think I wanted to go do something else, or my kids were crying, and I stopped out here. But overall, in this trade, especially if you got in down here, what do you see as you look left on this chart? And this will come a little bit important later. You see higher pivot lows. You see the name kind of compressing, and granted it was weaker than the market, but you don't see it. It doesn't, like, it's not as strong as the Qs. And in just the context of this chart, what it looks like in a sense to me is that you're consolidating for a move higher. Now it didn't happen, and that's why I want to talk about this chart. And if you get in it and it goes up here, let's say we go up here and we test the 21 and we're kind of below the 21. I expect shakeout hammers. I expect, especially like if we go up here and we come back down and we test and we're going down here, it's like I expect something to come down and whip up like this. I expect this and then some of this, and I expect all of this. As long as we don't go lower than here or lower than this second low, this candle here, the 824 candle, because you popped up, you came in, you tested that low. To me, that's really your entry kind of stop. Because that's the low that was tested after you put in this whip. So you came down here, just instantly exploded. So really, you get in here, you come down. This is really kind of your stop. And you can see that it tested. So even this necessarily, depending on where your options are at, wouldn't say that the trade has failed yet. Now, you might have failed in the sense of your ability to hold it, or maybe you've taken off some money, or maybe something else has happened. But if I'm just looking left on a chart, and let's say it pops up here and kind of goes around and starts taking off through the 21 again, I still like this long. All things just being equal and just looking at the chart, I still like this long because it's not putting in, it's not putting in pivots lower. It looks like it's compressing kind of in an upward direction towards a breakout. Now it hit this zone and it didn't go, and that's fine. But something like this is something that I like for a long, and in this, I expect to have a shakeout. And the entry I would look for, let's say if I wasn't in here, so if I wasn't in here on this candle, and this is, I think, the kind of what I want to get at here, is let's say I'm not in on this. You're still below the 21, so you could be choppy. Let's say I miss this entry because I'm not as aggressive, and I miss this entry and we kind of chop around, I'm not going to chase up here personally. I'm going to wait for something like this to happen. So I missed it down here. Do I still like the trade? Yes. Where is a possibility of me taking this trade? If I was to say, all right, I'm looking at this, what do I want to happen? I missed the entry. It looks like we've already exploded. I'm not chasing it up here when the entry was here or here. I think Kelly got in this here too. I'm going to wait for something like this. I'm going to wait for a shakeout hammer. That's what I'm going to look for. Hey, what's up, Dari? And somebody asked me about shakeout hammers today, and that's why I'm going through this. I'm going to wait for something like this to happen to give me an entry, but the shakeout can't ruin the trade. You know, it can't be something that's like heavy volume and going down. It's just something that comes down, that tests a little bit higher, and then goes back up. And then you're in it down here or around here somewhere because you see that hammer start taking in, and you're taking out this this candle again. You're coming back up. It's like, okay, I'll take an entry here. And then, yeah, you know, maybe you catch this, maybe you don't. A lot of times this would have done this. It didn't do that, and that's why it's kind of fun to talk about a chart that didn't work. But this is an entry. If it comes back down and it goes down to here and it starts doing this again, I'm not necessarily chasing these breakouts. I'm waiting for something that's kind of that shakeout or that pull in. So if I'm watching this and I'm watching it pull down and doing this, what am I looking for? I'm looking for some bottoming tails into the bottom of this secondary kind of pivot. After we whipped higher, we put in a hammer, and now we pull back down. I'm looking for something that goes back there or slightly higher for an entry. So that a possible entry, this candle, the 1108 possible entry, and then down here either the 36 or the 38 candle, a possible entry, or the next break of that candle, because there you get that hammer. Okay, so now I'm going to get in it somewhere around here. I'm going to give it a little bit of room. So if I enter down here, understanding that the price action as a whole in my story of a fib line, we've only made one leg. You know, we've only made one leg up in the name today. We held the 50% retracement. Yeah, we're consolidating and chopping. The name hasn't been great as far as putting in a lot of legs or whatever. But I'm waiting for it to pull back down. All right, we're close to this level again. Here's a breakout. I'm going to put my stop down here because I think if we break down here, then I'm going to, you know, the move basically is over. So I'm going to enter here with a first target of this pivot breakdown because this is where we broke down last time. So this is where there's going to be some resistance. So you know what? I'm going to take it down right about here. Let's say the breakout of this green takes red. And my stop is going to be a little bit lower, and I'm going to size down. I'm not going to take a full 10, 20, 30 contracts. I'm going to do 5. Why? Because my move is a $5 move. I'm going to make 2 points, 3 points on a $5 move. And I'm going to get paid because of the target and the move, not because of the quick reaction. So I don't need to have 10, 20 contracts and catch a big quick pop. Because if you have 10 or 20 contracts right here, there's a good chance you get shaken out when it drops down and you're down 30 cents or 20 cents based on your fill. You could be down 50 cents. You might not have that mental stop loss built in. And if it drops down to here and does another little whip down and goes up, you're going to be screwed, as it were. But if it just drops a little bit and you only got 5 contracts and you have a point or two built in, $1,000, so 2 points on 5 contracts built into your loss. It can be less. You can do 2 contracts. I don't care. You build in your whatever the word I'm looking for is, your risk management. I kind of talked about that on the last show. I was exhausted on that show, by the way. So you say, okay, I'm in it down here. Risk management is like $1. So I'm going to lose 50 cents to a point, you know, whatever it is, 2 points, $1,000, $800. If I'm wrong with the ability of retesting, you know, at least I had the 702 line, I called this one out, or at least when we get close to that line, I'm going to take some profit off. Or maybe take the whole thing off and leave a runner to retest highs and then the 127. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something like that. When I say I'm waiting for something, I'm waiting for something that looks like this pattern. And I'm not sure what it looked like on a 5 and some of these other minutes. You know, you're into the 21, so this is a 5-minute chart. You're looking at different charts here. There's some ugly wicks, but you pull back down, you know, here down to this area. You kind of hammer off that. You're holding the 21. You know, there's different time frames you can look at to kind of determine your entry there. But so I would have taken this, and I took some money here, and then I had something to go do, I think, with my kids. So I got out and just broke even on it on the second half or whatever. And I think Mitchell, hopefully he took some profits off here. I'm not sure what he did, but he was in this trade and he called this trade out. So that was a trade that we all took, a lot of us took, that didn't go to target. It kind of worked, but we were in it forever, and it was more annoying than a trade like Netflix. Netflix was money today. I called Netflix out a couple of times, but I didn't trade it. I wish I did. Netflix was the perfect name today. It moved absolutely perfectly with the fib lines and the perfect legs, everything. This name was beautiful through and through. And this is what I'm looking forward to after the split. I'm looking forward to seeing these other names and knowing that trading Netflix, Tesla, Meta, Amazon, in a sense, are now all the same. I was focusing so much on Tesla, and I do, that I miss opportunities in other names because, you know, I'm trading Tesla. Tesla's going to pay me when I'm right extremely, and even if I'm wrong, I can scout Tesla and make money really quick. Now I have to actually have, pick the best pattern. Right here, when this, I guess this was news or whatever, this is when I called it, it came down, hit here, and then went higher. Well, here's your first leg of Netflix. So there's your first leg of Netflix. Your pull back and your move higher. Pull in again, go higher. And so you hit the 127 and you hit the 161 of this move. You pull in, you retest the 21 here. Here's your retest close to the 21 basically. And then just go higher. It just rides the 8 all the way up. After you do that, and you can say Netflix 1, 2, 3 basically. You do what is, in my opinion, let me move my face a little, perfect here, is on the way down in Netflix. Once you pull back below the 21, there's a clear defined stop, pull back up into the 21, right near the 38% retracement, and boom, down to the 127, back up, and if we were to throw another fib up here, back up into the, this time we hit the 68% retracement, and then we go lower, and you hit your target there right into the 200. You hit the 200, you flag out, and if you look at this move as an entirety, which I'll do stuff like this with my fibs during the day, I'll draw multiple ones. You came right back into the 38% retracement of the entire move, so it's still very bullish. So into tomorrow, I'm got a tea time possibly tomorrow morning, but I would look for Netflix to make a move to $35, $36.80 tomorrow. I say 35 because that's the bottom of this wedge here, so I would look for Netflix to continue its move tomorrow, maybe a pull into $29.96, so the bottom of this line. So I would look tomorrow for Netflix to hold the 50, I'd say even hold higher, but as long as it holds $29 tomorrow, I would watch for Netflix to continue to 35 would be my easy target. You could say yesterday's high and then this, but I think that we push higher into tomorrow in Netflix and probably do 36.80 for a third leg or another measured move higher. I think this would be a trade. So what I'm excited for there you go. Look at that. Look how those come so close together. So fun. And probably move it a little bit higher, but pretty close. Yeah, basically right there in that same area. So maybe it pulls down. If that pulls down a little bit, it would be there. So Netflix, one of my favorite names going into tomorrow. Don't know how much I'm going to be able to trade it. The price action throughout the day tells the story. If you can slow down and identify, look, 1 leg, 2 leg, 3 legs. We looked at Amazon and why it did and didn't work. What I should have looked at in Amazon was, oh, we're at the 3rd leg. All right, as soon as this failed, it should have been, hey, let's wait for the 21 and let's do that reversal to the 200. What did I do in Tesla? I think I did it in Tesla instead of Amazon. I didn't call this one out because I called the Amazon one. It didn't work. And I was like, I don't know. I don't like this one that much. And I was like, this price action's kind of slow and crappy. So whatever, I don't care for this. But you had Tesla here break down. Where was it? Here. So here's the Tesla target. Here's our Tesla target. Ryan C, I think. Yeah, Ryan C, shout outs to you. I missed it because I wasn't watching chat, but you actually had said this looks like a good short, I think, in chat. And where is it? It's here, below the line. So we come in below the line. This fib doesn't actually matter because the short isn't into the fib line. It's into support here, which is 95.60. So the fib line doesn't really matter. I could throw it up to see if it hit. And yeah, this is the line I used. I don't think it mattered though. I wasn't really interested in it. Like, yeah, it hit later. I wasn't interested in the fib. I was interested in the 21 short to this, to 89.50, and then I went to the gym. So I shorted Tesla here, and I did not get shaken out here. Why? Let's move my face a little bit. I wasn't heavy in this either. Why? So we had a clear failure after trying to go higher all day. So what do we have? Let's throw up a line here. Well, we already threw up a line. Let's throw up a line here. No, and that doesn't really matter. You have a line. So you have your kind of pivot that held. What do you have? You have, if you're looking left on a chart, okay, we failed to go higher. This was going to be so strong, blah, 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 blah. It didn't happen. We pulled down. We failed. We hit the 200. All right, so if you shorted up here, good job. 200 fail, whatever. I didn't. And it hit the 200, and we bounced. All right, we bounced into the 200. Now off the 200 into the 21 on not really high volume or anything. Tesla's been weak all day. We're at the 21. Short in here on a breakdown, and then it hits the 8. You're going to consolidate, but as long as you don't break out above, your stop is basically 902.04. And again, you take proper size to allow yourself. Dude, I did too. Dari, like that Tesla 21 when it hit and all that stuff, I was like, I'm good. This is going to be freaking 15 points. I'm going to hold the whole thing. Tesla's going to put in a move. Tesla hasn't done that. All these other names are doing it, and I'm just sitting here trading Tesla all week when it only puts in one leg a day. It's like a $10 ATR, $20 ATR when it used to be 40. We're not getting our 3 legs. It's a pain. But thankfully I got this one. Yeah, Tesla's pissed me off this week. I've made money in it, and again, this weekend, next show, I'll show my post-split, what I've made in Tesla this year. And we'll see post-split into the end of the year what I've done. But this is a short. Why? Here's your stop. So you have this double top here. You can short it at any point. And your stop is basically 902.04. There's your pivot. You're below it, in my opinion, for how I put this trade together in my head. You're up here. You hit the 200. You bounce into the 21. You failed to break through the 21. And then even if you take the second one, like I don't like the first one. It didn't trigger really. Whatever. It's coming back up. As soon as this fails, you can take it. Why? You have a level here. Yes, it's between the 21 and the 200. This is dangerous. It's just what I like. There's your stop. What's the idea? Yeah, 200 is your first target. If you break the 200, where are you going? And it looks like you're going there because you failed to get higher. So where's the natural point? It's like buyers give up. We're below here. The buyers gave up. We're pushing down. What is likely to happen? We are likely to put in a leg lower. It is the likeliest scenario. So the likeliest scenario is we do that, we pull in, and I have a tight stop on not a lot of contracts, meaning right up here, if we get back above 902 and we, hit VWAP, we'll see what happens. Just going to take it, let it ride, that's fine. We'll let it ride here. If you really want to, take some profit right here. And then there's your level as far as support. That's your support line. Talked about this. This is when I saw Ryan's, this is where I saw Ryan's message. And I was like, I would not short it right here, guys. This is long, if anything. And then someone was like, he said that 13 minutes ago. I was like, oh, I feel stupid. And he probably said it back here. Yeah, he said it like right around here. So then you consolidate here. You go back up into the 200. I didn't short this. I was at the gym. But here's your next short. Why? you're below the 200 basically. You're coming up into the 200, you hammer, you come down, red takes green, a little bit of chop, that's fine. As long as you don't break above the 200, there's your easy stop. Where's your target? You could probably do your fib now or something like that. And, there's your first target, 127. A little bit of a pullback into the 8, usually at something like this, the 8, and also the 95.60. So on a trade like this, consolidate into the 200. You fail to get back above the 200. I wasn't here. I'm just Monday morning quarterback, something that might not even help you guys. I did take a different trade, which we're about to go over. So you go in here, you fail, you hit the 127. You actually hit the 160, 168 extension. And then what do? I called this trade out live, and that's why I'm going to talk about this one. If you're in the room, I called it out live. I got back from the gym around here. Saw this. I said, guys, I think we're at support. Why did I say I think we're at support? And hey, I'm looking for a long. Because of this. Look, you had the gap up, all this. We basically failed to break higher. Tesla's like, fine, we failed to break higher. What did we do? We retraced right to the bottom. If you look at this line and move my head out of the way. Yeah, I'll move my face. So look at what we did. When we're talking about price action as a whole and looking left on a chart and seeing where we're at, where was this major leg? So we put in one leg this morning, basically. So we put in one leg, and now we're basically retracing that whole leg. Where did that leg start? That leg started right here. This was the takeoff point, basically yesterday's close. And then we went up from there. We failed to go higher. We came back down to it. So where's our natural point of a bounce? After you short these, if you short this, and if you short this 8, you're 127, 168, all that fun stuff. I didn't short it. I wasn't here. I'm not going to talk about it. But this one I called long. Why? I mean, look at this too right here. Pull into it, another quick drop, and then just a hammer right off of that. So you got these tweezer bottoms right here, double hammers right into the bottom of your breakout of the previous day of the leg. Where's support going to be? Here. Where's target? In my opinion, you have two targets. Your first target is the 21. This is where I took it, and I think I was done because I wanted to trade meta. So there's your long. It's like, hey guys, I'm long this, I'm long this, I'm long this. Like I'm long, target's the 21, and there's your 21 hit. This was a 4-point play, I think. 4-point play. I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm going to size down. I'm going to take like 10, 20 contracts in meta now and, maybe add a couple $100 to my day and lock it in. And sadly, meta was an idiot and didn't do what I wanted it to. But this is, and then we'll look at meta, but that's how you identify where to enter this and why I was calling this out and why I looked at it. That's why I liked it here. There's a story here that's being told of overall price action, shakeout hammer, another hammer which went higher. If I wasn't in it and something else was happening and this dropped down, would I be scared that Tesla's going short here? No, not necessarily, because now we're slowing down, a little bit of a rocket off there. I wouldn't have liked it. I don't think I liked Tesla because I didn't like the price action. But just looking at the chart, if you're just looking at it, you kind of like it because you think it's going to, rip, and it should put in at least 2 legs before it failed. It didn't. It was really weak today. Where's the natural point for it to bounce? At the bottom of here. Where's your natural first target? First target's the 8. Second target's the 21. And then third target would be 95.60. But why? That's the why on the entry. That's what I'm looking for, is a buy signal off of this to give me a reason to get in. Why do I have this target? Well, we're extended on the down move. We've made an entire down move from the 200 down to an area of support at the top of this. We should pop to a significant level unless there's some type of outsized selling, and there wasn't. It's not like it was, just everybody dumping their shares or something. We have barely moved on the day. So, where's your area that you think you're going to pop to before you possibly fail? The 21. All right. And then we do go a little bit higher, but that should be your pop and your target. That's how I put that stuff together. That's how when I'm looking at a trade and an idea, that it's like, this is what I'm looking for. And the rule I kind of have made for myself is I'm, whatever I trade in the morning, I'm looking for Like I trade in the morning. I don't really have a set number of trades. I'm just trading. And then after like 10:30 or so, or we have a leg set in something, what I'm looking for is those levels, and I give myself like 5 trades throughout the afternoon. So I'll sit here all day and not really trade, unless I see something I really like or small size. But I'll give myself really like 5 or 4 full size trades, 10, 20 contracts in something, 50 if it's in a name like the Qs or something like that, with built-in stops based on the amount I made earlier. Smaller size based on how much I made earlier in the day, because I have to practice risk management, proper risk management, in order to be successful. But something like this is a buy. Why? You're into the support. It's that simple. And so I'm looking for those shakeout hammers. I'm looking for something like that to give me the buy signal. It doesn't necessarily scare me away. Where is... But there's something else that I want to say about that. It's you don't hold things and take things just because, like, the trade idea still has to be intact. You can't be like, so, Meta failed to break out here. I think I made like 10, 15 cents on this, and like I got in somewhere around here and I added on this pullback. Why did I add on this pullback instead of getting out of it? Well, I wasn't heavy, that's for one. It was like I had a total of 10 contracts somewhere in here, and then I had like 10 more contracts and 10 more, and they hadn't moved the whole time. It was like I had a 90 entry and then an 85-cent entry. So, where's your stop? Basically VWAP for a single shakeout. But what do you have? Like, you have this semi-beautiful base here. And so as long as we're not breaking it, and you're like, yeah, you're pulling back in, and then you're kind of accelerating up. All right, Meta is not really a great name to do it because these contracts don't move, and whatever it is. But this idea would still be here. It's like, hey, I'm waiting for a pullback. Maybe you don't add every time, but there's no reason to get shaken out on these drops because the trade isn't broken. So you shouldn't be taking size. And I found my trick for myself is I shouldn't be taking size that I'm going to regret not selling here. So if I'm going to regret selling here, then I just need to sell. I need to be able to take size to where I'm going to want to get paid here, not necessarily right here. So if I'm taking, Meta doesn't move very much. So like if I'm taking 10 contracts or something, at the end of the day here, and then we're going up into here, I'm making 10 cents maybe on those contracts, depending on my fills even. So depending on a bunch of different things, you don't know, maybe you limit in, who knows. But this is like, what, a 20, whatever cent move. So you wait for it to pull in, you take some of it, maybe you take some off if you are somebody like that, and you're like, man, I missed it. I can't buy up here. I'm going to buy near the breakout. Me personally, until we actually break out, I generally am not buying breakouts. I'll buy them once we break out and pull in, but I'm like, hey, if it whips down and it puts in a candle like this, and then it stops, and then it starts ticking up, I'm going to buy here. Why? Because this didn't scare me, because the trade is still going. We put in lows. We kind of tested higher. We tested the same level, a little bit lower, but still not lower. And now we're consolidating in here. You know what? This doesn't even scare me because now we're consolidating higher, and now we're moving higher. And we were still moving higher, and then it looked like, it just didn't have the steam, didn't have the buyers. The whip came in at 50, and, everybody knows about the whip, and it pushes us down. Again, I got out because people were ringing my doorbell, and I had a phone call, and it was all happened at the same time. So technically this trade didn't work because this was target right here, 46.50. Small target, but it was just a quack. I thought this little bottom here, we'd put in a pop, and then who knows? Didn't happen. That's fine. This trade didn't work. One of the other trades I talked about didn't work. But what are we looking for? Good evening, Rebecca. How's it going? We had a story. We had an idea of what we were looking at. We had ways we could get in. We had something we were waiting for to happen because we've seen this happen before, and we're just kind of waiting for it. If I was to look left on Meta, and I'll move my head out of the way. On this 21, CT took some of these trades, and he actually took a couple of these, and I was watching something else, so I didn't look at it. I don't remember which trade he took. I'd say this. There's your pull into the 21. There's your 127. You're pulling to the 121. Pretty close to there. He took some of these. And another name I should have traded instead of Tesla, because this one put in one leg, two, this one put in, you could say one leg, and because that pulled in, that hit the 21. After you hit the 21, either way, that pulled in, and this did really well. Let's say I got in here. You have to be careful in meta. I talked about this a little bit on Monday. You need to give this trade. Hang on, one of my kids are crying. I might be too loud. I'll give him a second. You need to give yourself enough space and not go too heavy so that a little whip like this doesn't whip you out. A little bit of a drop doesn't necessarily whip you out. If you do, or if you take two outside sides, you're like, boom, here's it. I'm going to take it right here. And then this happens. You really have to watch the tape and be careful. Sorry. About to have to go lay my hand on him. He must have gas or something. I haven't woke up crying in a while. And then you can't be shaken out by this, because you have to understand the overall play of what is happening. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. This hasn't happened in a while. I haven't had to run and go touch him. I'll be back in literally like 30 seconds. I didn't even touch him. Didn't even have to go in. I've done 4 or 5 on reading tape. I should probably put them in a playlist. I did them with Geronimo. I did like 1 or 2 with Geronimo, 1 or 2 myself, and we kind of did like a small series on it. But yeah, I can. And I talked about, you're not red in this trade because the trade has failed. Like, you're letting a candle kind of develop. You're giving yourself some room. Like, maybe in a sense you're saying, hey, if this candle's thick and closes down here, or if it's just ripping against me, but you shouldn't necessarily be in, 200 contracts here in meta or whatever it is. Maybe you should be in a correct amount of size to where you can give yourself some room to the 200 even, or, a little bit more room for the trade to work. So if you're here and you're consolidating, like, I like this. Okay, I'm going to take it, but it could still shake me out. It could do a shakeout hammer through the 21. I need to have that planned in, so I'm going to plan for a shakeout hammer. Maybe I take it, maybe I don't. Look back. Oh, my face is in the way. Look back here. It hits the 21. It's below here. Or look here. It hits the 21, and it doesn't do a shakeout hammer. There's your 21 test. There's your higher, a little bit higher. Pull back into the 21 and then go. But your size needs to be both that, if this is your trade, that a little shakeout hammer through the 21 and then right back through it. Another little test of the 21 and then goes higher. Why don't you get shaken out here? Because the trade is still on. You have consolidated. You put in a solid leg higher. You're above the 200 and the 21. You're into the 21 and you're holding it. You went through it and hammered, and now you're here. Yeah, it could take 10, 15 minutes to go, but all right, now we've accelerated. Now we've tested highs. Good chance when we get here, we're going to get a little bit of a pullback, at least into the 8, and then we're going to go higher. I mean, that's actually kind of your, that would be more of your target. Like, you'd probably get off some here. And then, so I say all that to say, and there's your, you're still testing the 21, you're at it higher. I say all that to say, there is part of tape reading and price action and finding the trades and the entries And you can be wrong, like I was wrong in Amazon. Facebook didn't do what I wanted it to. In a sense, wrong in both those names. But is the trade that you have come up with, that you have planned for, that you have appropriately done risk management and proper size with, and all this other stuff, is it actually, is it still going? Or are you holding this because you're just holding something that's dumping? Has it failed? Is there something in the cues that have failed? Is there a reason that this trade is no longer valid? Is there something that hasn't worked? And if there is, then don't take it. Don't hold on to it. But if there's not, and you're like, nope, the trade's still good. Like I've got a little bit of risk management built in, or and I'm cool with what happens. We haven't hit my stop, and you know what, we're getting closer to my stop. I don't like it. I'm going to get out. Like my stop was a 200, but there's some bearish candles and the cues are failing. The cues are dumping. I'm just going to get out. I'll get back in if I need to. I don't think there's anything wrong with that personally. You shouldn't hold one just because necessarily it hasn't hit your target, and you should definitely take profits along the way. But you need to be able to kind of factor that in and look for that. So if this was a Tesla chart, we're sitting here on the 21 and be like, well, I'm in it some, but I'm waiting for a shakeout. If it does a shakeout hammer, I'm going to add. So if I was doing Tesla and I saw this and I got in here on the 21 and it did this and it dropped down and started going up, oh, I'm going to be in it again. I'm going to add. I'm going to double my size in that. And then if we fail, I'm going to get out, take a little bit bigger loss, but I don't care. And I don't mean that negatively, but that's what I'm looking for. That's part of the trade I'm looking for. So I hope that kind of makes sense on hammers and shakeout hammers a little bit, and looking left on a chart and finding those entries and, looking for something to trade, looking for what the chart is doing, looking left on a chart to see what's it doing, where's it at, where's the resistance point, where's the bottom or top of this move, so where could it find support, if it's going to bounce, we put in a double 5 minute at the bottom, a 5 minute candle here. In Tesla, if you look at the 5 minute, it's like, oh, look at this perfect little 5 minute here. Like you had a 5 minute close, next 5 minute opened up, and then you gone up. Yeah, I'm going to take this long. And put stuff like that together to find those late in the day trades. If you're going to sit here, don't just waste your time. Zoom out on your chart, something like this. Look at your 5 minute, your 2 minute. Have them next together, spread out, see where you're at. And if you don't see a pattern and you don't see anything, then don't freaking trade it. Like, I don't see anything here. Next chart. I don't see anything here. Next chart. I actually do see something there. It's like, I don't really, or, maybe you see something here. You're like, man, NVIDIA put in this big move. Hypothetically, let's say you're like, man, NVIDIA put in this big move. I'm not really worried about all that. We kind of pulled in and, held at 50%. We pull in, we put in another pivot. So do I like this or not? I don't know. Let's see what NVIDIA is doing. It pulled down. It's kind of breaking, kind of consolidating here. You put in a higher pivot. You know what? I'm going to watch it for, I didn't trade this at all, but you know what? We're kind of on that 200. Everything is getting compressed. I'm going to watch it for a breakout through the 200. I'm going to take it for a scalp and a run back to maybe just this pivot here, 72 cent. I'm just making something up. It's kind of the same trade that we did in Facebook. Because look, you've got the top of a lot of candles here. If you look left and you look there, like look left on that chart. So I think there's a chance that NVIDIA moves back there if we break the 200. So you know what? I'm going to enter NVIDIA at a break of the 200. I'm going to give it room to VWAP or something like that. Or I'm going to take it here in the middle if you want to do something like that. And if it gets below VWAP, I'm out of it. And I'm going to give it room. I think we run to this pivot. If you look left, look at why I say I would think NVIDIA is going there. Look right, look where it went. Yeah, it pulled up higher, that's fine. But that's your target at the end of the day for a nice quick scalp for 80 cents. And so if I'm sitting there, I'm coming up with something like that to see, are we putting in higher lows? Are we kind of trending up? Are we trending down? What have we done overall in the day? Where are we at now? Okay, here's one target. Where's the other target? We're kind of at support over here. If we broke down, where would we go? Same thing in Netflix, same things in some of these different names, generally not with the spies and the Qs. Even same thing with Meta. It was the same idea. It just didn't work. It was like coming up to here, where are we going to push to? Where we're kind of, bouncing around here. We're kind of trending higher. This is a beautiful trade. If we break out, we're going to go to right here, and I have a really quick, 10, 20 cent loss on 20 contracts and 30, 40 cents if I win. Cool. That's a good trade. That's a good idea for something to put together. So Bronx, yeah, it's been a mix. Early on, we still do a lot of scalping and stuff like that. You really just have to get in the room and kind of listen, the Discord room and the NewsBeat live room. We've done a mix. I do a lot more Kelly style. Even if I'm scalping, I take into account where things are at, what leg we're in, the fib levels, measured moves, pivot points and resistance points based off of other legs that have been put in. So a lot of that I kind of take into account. It doesn't mean I necessarily like only trade that way. I do a mix of hyper scalping and these measured moves, but I do hold some of the measured moves like that Tesla trade at the end of the day that I mentioned on the show, and the 21 short. It's probably my favorite, favorite short. And something like meta. I mean, stuff like this, trades like this I look for all the time. Something like this, where you get this like double top into the 21 and then you shoot down. Trades like this, I look for all the time to the 127. I'm always looking for those. Once we put it in 3 legs up and you're in the late afternoon and you've come down below the 21, almost 100% of the time, I'm looking for a pull up into the 21, and then I'm looking for a short, looking for another pop into the 21, and then generally speaking, I'm looking for a short into the 200. Just not in a name this strong. I wouldn't expect it to retrace all the way there, even though it did. We're tired. So yeah, later, brother. Have fun with work. Yeah, shoot me a message later when you want to talk or whatever it is. And be glad to talk to you. Help you out, kind of get you back into the swing of things. Thankfully, the boy went down. He went down, Chris. They're really good sleepers, thankfully. And I would take credit, but it's definitely not. AMD on the hourly. Well, this is just AMD generally. Hourly. I need to redraw some of these lines. I mean, I don't really think anything. I think if you fell 904 somewhere, but I think if you fail to break out tomorrow, you've got room on the downside to I don't know, like $88 or something. I could see us taking out this whole leg up here and going down to like $86. I'm not a expert when it comes to hourly charts and swing trading. It's not really my thing. On the daily, you could be setting up for a bullish run to the 200. My problem with it would be you need the market and you're below the 21. I'm not sure what NVIDIA's earnings and all their stuff. I know that they had come out and said that it was going to be bad. I'm sure they missed. I haven't even looked at it. I'm sure that it's gapped down massively or whatever. AMD might be a sympathy to the downside. I don't imagine they're going to be any better. You hit your first support here on the daily. I think you have room to $84. That would be your kind of support level. If you were to hold up and go higher, wherever we retrace more than the 50%. If we would have held that, it would have seemed bullish to me. But I mean, yeah, I think you still have room for a move to the 200 if the semiconductors and all that stuff starts going. Doesn't look horrible on the daily, but generally speaking, I see it as seems to be more like it's retracing for a move back down to $84, or I'd say probably $87. That's just my thoughts. I'm obviously not offering any type of investment or trading advice. And then a pop after you get down to this level, the $87, and a pop back up, and then you either go higher or you don't. I'm not sure if it's going to be gap down tomorrow. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but it doesn't look great to me. In my opinion, if it was going to be great, it really should have held a little bit more. Like held this low. It really seems like it's going to come back up and test those lows and roll over. But I could be wrong. It doesn't look like it's super easy tradable. You had a down move and an up V bottom, pull out. Yeah. So my plans for Tesla. TSLA. My plans for Tesla tomorrow. So I might be golfing tomorrow morning at 10:30, weather dependent. So I might not even be able to trade. We'll see if I trade or not. Depending on if I trade or not, we'll see what's up. So it is. I'm gonna, in a sense, I'd go at it early, but just not go at it aggressive. I'm gonna trade it based off the setup. I just don't know how it's gonna trade. So I'd probably try it really light just to see how the options move. But I would imagine it moves similar to Meta. I'm not sure if you're gonna get interest in it. If if the chart and all the stuff looked like this. I'm obviously going to have to delete all my lines and all that other stuff, but if I was just looking at this chart here, Tesla looks like short, or it just looks like it's consolidating, and it's at support. Yeah, I don't have any real, like, it doesn't look overly strong to me. It just looks like it wanted to hang around 900, and it looks like it just wants to sit at 900 until a split, and then it wants to trade post-split. Like, I don't think Tesla wants to do anything pre-split. I think it just wants to trade post-split. So I think for now, you're just going to sit here at the 900 level and goof around. So I just want to see how it reacts after the fact. I'll trade it like it's going to make 3 legs. Is Tesla split tomorrow, guys? Anybody know? I've heard both. I've heard that today was the last day of trading at 900, and I've heard it's after the bell tomorrow. I can Google it really quick. I'll know in the morning. Tesla will begin target August 24th. I think it's today. Yeah. Wednesday, August 24th. Yeah. So yes, we'll wake up tomorrow to a lower price Tesla, according to what I'm looking at. I don't know if that's wrong, but yeah, we should wake up tomorrow to a split Tesla. I may or may not be trading. If I do, I don't know how much these lines matter, and I'm going to have to redraw everything. I'm going to have to redraw all the stuff and all that. I would say you might get some excitement in Tesla and a move up, but I don't know what that move is going to look like. I don't know how the options are going to move, so I am going to trade it. It's just I'm going to be cautious, kind of watching how I trade it. I'm not going to go heavy. It's not like, bam, let's smack the crap out of this. But I'm going to be looking for moves, and I might even trade common in it just to kind of get used to the movement while I'm watching the options. So that's my, I don't have thoughts on generally Tesla. If I was just looking at it like this, I would say it looks like we have room to the downside. If we open up around, $88 or so, punch higher into the 21 and then go short. Like if I was talking about this right now, I would say my favorite thing in Tesla is if the market opens up a little bit lower tomorrow, we get a quick pop into the 21, like what happened today. I'm going to short it for a move first at 86, and then where's like support? I don't know, somewhere, I'm going to short it for a move down to, like $80 or something for an 8-point move lower. So I think we would move to, I'm going to wait for it to pop up, hit that, short it to take some off at 86, and then down to 80 for the rest. That would be my plan tomorrow in Tesla to the short side at this price. to the long side, it would be a lot harder. It'd be very, 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 very difficult. You'd say, hey, maybe if you gap up at 900 or something, you hit the 200 and you rocket off the 200, and or maybe if you're way up here, if you gap up to 907 in resistance, you pull back in to around 902, which is where the 21 would probably catch up to by the time it pulled in there, and then rocket higher for a break out of 10. I'd sell some around that level, and then for a move to 915. So those are the two ways I would trade Tesla at this price. I don't know how I'm going to trade it tomorrow at the price it's going to be at, because it kind of depends on how it moves. That would be my thoughts for this price. I don't know what the thoughts are for the new price. Same concept, I would imagine, though. You know, shortest is easier. Long would be easier if you gapped up, pulled in, and went. And just so you're above the moving averages, if you were just flat, you know, you went long into the 200, that's resistance. You're probably going to bounce around for a little bit. You would probably, in my opinion, in Tesla, if you gapped up into VWAP or the 200, you'd pull down a little bit, put in a higher, you would do something like this, where you gapped up, you pulled down, you pulled back up, you pulled down, but you put in a higher my face is in the way. Sorry. Let me move my face. This is what I expect in Tesla if we gapped up to the wrong side. I'd look for something like this. Gap up, pull down, pull back up, really annoying action, pull in, higher pivot low, and then a move higher. That's what I would look for in Tesla. If you gap up higher, same thing, be up here, pull down, get back up, pull down, higher pivot, or it'd be the other way around, and I'd look for the inverse of that. So that's how I'd trade Tesla. That's generally what I'm looking for. Gapping up, I'd be a lot more cautious. Any other questions? No, we've been going for an hour. I'm going to start doing recorded videos and trades again. I've been so spacey and doing some other stuff. I need to start making sure I'm uploading good content and stuff for you guys. So sorry, I've been neglecting the content and all that fun stuff, but we'll be getting back to it. If you don't have more questions, and even if you do, I'll wait for them to come in. But hang out, Discord, link below, T3 live room, incredible traders in there. Best mentor, Geronimo, that I've ever traded with. Absolutely love learning from him. Link to the T3 live room if you want to trade with us there in the description. Support the channel, click on that. And then the Discord, if you want to trade for free, you just want to hear some of our call outs and stuff like that, understand what we're doing, ask questions and all that. Link to that's in the description too. Video, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It does help the channel. It does grow it. The more it grows, the more my wife is like, okay, you can do more stuff. And wow, I'm making video content, honey. Well, why are you doing that? So, all that fun stuff matters. So I do appreciate it when you guys do that, but you don't have to if you don't want to. It's whatever. This helps me too, doing these talks and doing this stuff with you. So hopefully this video was good for you guys as far as the overall price action, what I look for, those shakeout hammers, planning for them to be in your trades, especially in longer holds, taking the amount of size and risk management that you're looking for, looking back to kind of tell the story of where the trade at and what is possible to happen. So you can gauge a target that is a realistic target, taking profits along the way and all that kind of stuff, finding the top, look, this is where it broke out at. So look, we put in a double hammer at the bottom or whatever. We put in tweezer bottoms. You know what? I'm going to go long. Where's the first area I think we're going to go to? Here. Why didn't this little shakeout hammer or this little inverse hammer, whatever here, freak me out and make me want to go short? Why? Because the trade is still active to the long side. We have an active breakout happening off of this level. So no, this doesn't shake me out. We didn't even break down. We just put in one of these and we're sitting down here and you're fine. You got all this cushion built in here off of this breakout. So we go in, we hit the 21 and we're done. Stuff like that is what, if you're going to trade later, to me has been most successful. So hope that kind of helped you. Hope it answered some questions. If you have more questions, you want me to talk in more detail about part of this, or recording screen and maybe recording some tape reading hammer stuff or whatever else it is, let me know. Comment down below in the video, and I will try to cover those in future videos. You can also DM me on the Discord. Love you guys. Catch you tomorrow morning. Even if I don't, even if I'm going golfing, I'll come out and at least say hi before I head out. So later, guys.